In Zenless Zone Zero, we got this top 3 must pull: Miyabi, Astra, and Yi Xuan. And now we got Yuzuha joining them, forming this 4 unshakable pillar that gonna carry your account until the end of the world. Yuzuha is just that strong. She is just another Astra, but anomaly. While Astra is more specialized with the crit damage DPS. So we got like the 2 must pull in the first half. Like, how can you make up your mind? If you're like a new player, you probably got flabbergasted so hard that you wouldn't know which one to pick, cause everyone said it's a must pull and couldn't actually make up your mind. In fact, there are quite a lot of nuance to that. If we actually think about it, it's not really like, oh, this one is stronger, so I pick this one. Types of elementary mathematics. It does has a lot to do with your account. But if you're like the waifu pool, I could make up the decision for you right now. Just pick Yuzuha if you like Kita from Bocchi the Rock. They're the same voice actors and they got green eyes and red hair, and everybody loves Kita. But if you feel like super motivated and you like ears, you're gonna go for I think when we are talking about this 4 pillar of Zenless Zone Zero, the thing that you gotta consider as a new player and old player are very different. But generally, if you're a new player, just go for Miyabi because she's a game broken in characters, easy to play, and she got huge amounts of iframe, which a lot of her moveset are counted as invincible, so much so that a lot of players feels like playing Miyabi for a while would make their skill worse for just how OP she is. And her team flexibility is also crazy. She could pair with any anomaly aside from Jane though. She would work extremely well. But speaking of free-to-play team, the most recommended team would be Mono Ice team. But if you find the team is hard for you, you could actually try Lucy Piper as your alternative, which is also a pretty strong team. And I'm actually working on the beginner guide for the Mono Ice team. Stay tuned for that. Overall, Miyabi need the least amount of investment to make a huge leap on your account. She's like a whole premium team, but all in one. The improvement is just unbelievable. It feels like playing different game after you get her. Her Mindscape 2 also gives you a crazy amount of improvement on top of a broken character. It's one of the few Mindscape that I'm not gonna stop anyone from getting it. But before you plan to get the Mindscape 2 Miyabi and you have Yanagi as her dedicated teammate, then you should consider pulling for Yanagi's signature before getting her Mindscape 1 or 2. Because one of the Miyabi's main source of damage is coming from how fast your secondary anomaly procs the disorder. Because Yanagi's signature would increase her anomaly builds up significantly. So definitely keep that in mind. Miyabi team's synergy is crazy with Yanagi, but I would argue that Vivian and Bernice are also on par with Yanagi. But it really depends on the situation, like the enemy's weakness and the buff of the current stage. Her signature is highly recommended. Definitely prioritize it before the Mindscape. But without signature Wenjin, she's already good to go. It's already enough for S rank in CU and definitely 3-star in the Deadly Assault. She's so strong that even on the ice resistant enemy, she is still the top DPS to clear it. She would be the top pick for pretty much any account. And the same line of thinking could also be applied as Yi Xuan, even though her team is not as flexible, but she's also the agent that you wanna prioritize. And as for support like Astra, Yuzuha, you're gonna have limited DPS in your account first for Astra to shine. But good thing is she is also very flexible. Any DPS in the game paired with her would automatically be the best in slot team. Maybe the Hugo team as the only exception. And as for Yuzuha, she's not gonna be as flexible as Astra, but her specialties is still pretty goddamn wide. She could put any anomaly DPS into the steroid mode, the first anomaly disorder support in the game. Literally the Astra of Anomaly Disorder team, and she does perform 10% better than Astra in the Anomaly team. And on top of that, she is also as low investment as Astra. Both of them doesn't really need their engine. RYO-ITO is also as strong as Astra Yuzuha if you put him in the right team, but his team is extremely narrow. You could only realistically use him on the Evelyn and the Hugo and Soldier 11, and without his signature weapon, the differences is also huge, and that's why he's not as valuable as the top 4 that I've just mentioned. Now let's get into the comparison between Astra and Yuzuha. Both of them provide flat 1200 attacks to the whole team, but Yuzuha only needs 3000 attack to get the full buff, while Astra needs 3428 to get the full buff. Astra give 20% damage buff, Yuzuha give 15%, and Astra give another 25% critical damage. And this is where Yuzuha outperform Astra. Astra's kit doesn't design around the anomaly and disorder, but Yuzuha does. She could buff disorder damage, and the anomaly builds up for 14 to 20%. And 14% is without the signature weapon. I don't think this 14% and 20% is that much of a differences. It definitely would in the speed run, but generally I don't think so. But after looking into her kit, if for any reason you are pulling Yuzuha without any anomaly DPS, she is still decently fine, even though she's not being optimized. You could see she gives even better buff than Caesar and would still perform decently well with pretty much any team. So you don't have to worry about breaking your account pulling her without the anomaly DPS, even though this is not recommended. And as for pull decision, if you're pulling Yuzuha for the anomaly team, getting her Mindscape 1 would be better than getting her signature, because without her signature, it would only has about 6 to 11% of differences. If you have Refinement 5 Kaboom, the power levels increased between M1 and the signature weapon are roughly the same, but if you don't have Refinement 5 Kaboom, then you could go for her signature. And the other reason that you wanna get her signature before her Mindscape 1 is when you are specifically using her for Miyabi, cause freezing enemy forever is not enough. You gotta freeze them to the eternity. And if you're pulling Yuzuha for the Owless, you better have another anomaly, except Piper and Jane though, because Owless is also physical DPS, even though her kit would works with Jane though and Piper, but it's not gonna work that well. But I could see a pretty good potential when you are putting her with the Nicole. And of course, you want your Nicole to use the Freedom Blue for the builds up in order to proc disorder. And here are some teams that gonna work well for the Yuzuha and Owless team. Miyabi is definitely here, Yanagi is here, Vivian and Bernice would slap. Grace should be fine, but don't expect a good result. Hyper carry with Astra or any support like Rina, Lucy, but you are not gonna get the benefit from the disorder damage buff from both Yuzuha and Owless. Overall, I do think Yuzuha is definitely on the top, but not as much a must pull like Miyabi or Yixuan for the new player. And if you're choosing between Mindscape 1, Miyabi or Yuzuha, it's definitely Yuzuha. But if you wanna get both but don't have enough pull, go for Miyabi first and wait for the rerun on the Yuzuha. And I think that's pretty much sum up everything. Don't forget to like and sub, and see ya guys.